Where are we, Tim?
St. Peter's Church, Paul.
So that's the Smilog, is it, Tim?
Yeah.
Where our party number 2 is coming from today. Tell me about the Smilog then, Tim.
That's Garth Mylog. Right, Garth Mylog is the hill next to it. Corruption is Smilog wood. Might be Smilog. That's been shortened in the vernacular. And there's a interesting thing I looked at last night. I was just looking at the Ordnance Survey map, and Garth Mylog, actually, if you knock off the first G and the last WG, leaves you with Arthmile. And I thought that was a really strange observation to note.
Interesting.
And the WG, if you look in the old dictionary, that can mean outside or out of. So there's a slight possibility it could be outside of the area of Arthmile, the Iron Bear, which of course it is.
And who might be buried?
In that church there. He could be buried in there. In the crypt that Wilson and Blackett only just found on the last day of their excavations back in the 1990s.
Church, Paul.
Could be in the boat. And you were just asking me about the slab that's here, and this is a slab, a capstone, which was built. It's got a plastic tube going through the middle of it, but it's literally just a slab of aggregate stone, cement, that was put inside the church. It was actually built inside the church, and it was put over the excavation hole that they'd dug in there to protect it from anybody pilfering down into this hole where they already knew there was treasure in there. And that was placed inside the church on the north wall. The idea of the pipe, the hole through the middle of it, was that a scaffolding tube would be slid down there, chained up onto a hydraulic arm crane, and at some point that's being lifted from its original position inside the church out of the way over here. So I assume there would have been a digger, a crane in here. And then apparently after the excavations, according to a witness, when the site was left, there were bones everywhere, and these were dismembered human bones, and they were taken up to they were picked up by the local authority, got involved, and some were buried back inside the church, and others were buried in this area here.
Where are we, Tim? That's marvellous.
We're up on Mynydda Gaia, not far from Toyn Caradog and not far from Peterston Super Montem or Landbad.
Which is where we're heading, no doubt.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at the boat-shaped grave, we're going to have a look at the church.
Excellent. And who have we met then? So on our walk we have met.
Famous man he meets from time to time.
Met a friend of mine, Norman, who comes up here and we bump into each other and we talk rubbish, don't we?
We talk rubbish, but it makes sense.
So you're not the Norman who built Llandaff Cathedral then?
Not as I'm aware of.
Tim keeps telling me, who's this built by? Norman. Norman.
Well, actually, Tim mentioned Mynydda Gaia. If you look on the first maps of Wales, you find it, and the translation is Seat of Arthur. So, you know, that's an early link, and I think the map at the time only showed churches and castles. So it was known as the seat being Summer Place.
Summer Place?
Yes. So there we are. So it's a link to the area before you start looking at anything that's remaining there. Because I think it's known on the maps as the ruins of St. Peter's. Yeah. But I think that that name was handed by the Normans, because I think the guy who was in Coity Castle was a follower of St. Peter's, and I think the one in Glenogo is. So we take it that that's how that's acquired the name, which is actually not true. It had no name prior to that. It was just a small church.
Interesting. Yeah,
So,
very interesting.
yes.
Was it ever Cor Emrys?
Yes.
I think I read in one of the books that it
Yeah,
might have been
exactly,
called Cor
yes.
Emrys.
Yes, that was linked to it. Emrys being, I don't actually know.
There'll be Emrys Wledig.
Yes, so it
Yes,
has
I
been
was
linked,
thinking,
but I think that's only in the readings we get of Alan Wilson, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've not seen it anywhere else, but it's a fascinating place. And as Tim said, there was a dig there. I'm going to say 1990, round about there.
Yes. That's right.
Which it was held by, by the Arthurian, the International Arthurian Society. I don't know who had authorised it. I take it was Alan Wilson, but he
Yes.
never mentions
They
the
owned,
society.
They owned it. At
They
that
owned
point.
it at that point, yes.
Yes.
And you'll find when you get there, it's a ruin, but the wall around had easily an 8-foot wire fence there and a gate. It was pretty secure, and the whole church was covered in a marquee with their banner on the top. So eventually they said, you know, this bloke is here quite often, we better ask him in. And the professor I said, well, what actually are you looking for? And he said, well, we're looking for how deep is the foundation, which was the only reason they could be there, because they weren't allowed to excavate, because it was still classed as a church. And they had it in grids, but it was a bit cloak and daggerish. But then there was a bit of a blowout, because they had tents there at the time, and I said, I don't think that's a good place to put your tents. No, it would be okay, but they all blew down 2 days later. And they were coming up from Cardiff by minibus. And then they left loads of equipment, but unfortunately they left it exposed with thousands of bones, and not in skeleton form. There were skulls and legs and arms, and so they had just abandoned it. So eventually got hold of the council and the newspaper, and the council actually had to go and put it back in, try to reinstate it in some shape or form. But a colleague of mine, we were looking to see if actually they were looking for the depth of foundation, and it was nowhere. It was just about a foot down. But interestingly, the bones were going underneath the wall. So they'd obviously been there before. If they say that's 11th century, the bones had obviously been there before.
So it was older than...
Yeah, because the structure of the walls they were going underneath it. So, but they weren't in skeleton form. So they, you know, the theory being that they were from a battle, and they take them back. And is that there's a place which is the burial place of soldiers. My opinion is that's where the burial place of soldiers is. Yeah. And I think that they've erected something. Over it.
It could well have been, couldn't it? Because it's supposed to be over over the other side of Monadhig.
Yeah, but it's
but if there's that many bones and it's under the whole thing,
it's under it, and it's not in skeleton form. So they've been taken there. In random, really.
Yes.
So you know, again, you know, ever since I was born and bred in this area, it's always been known up the mountain as burial place of soldiers somewhere. Yeah. And if there was a patch without ferns on it, they would say, that's where it is.
Yeah.
The old timers, you know.
That's right. So, in fact, somebody told me that the other day.
There you go.
They're talking about the old road down to Blackmill. Yeah. And they said, if you look at the field there, you'll see this red patch with ferns, and nothing ever grows there.
No, indeed. So that's my theory, because Tim will show you there's a big, huge burial area around it, right as you go through the gate.
The boat-shaped grave,
Yeah, and if you go on Google Earth, you can actually see the structure of the old buildings, you know. I noticed, I was watching one of the channels the other night, there's a new formula now that really, really is intense. A formula from satellites.
Right.
That they can take down to nth degree. And some of the imagery is, I think they mentioned it when they found this new place in Mexico, I believe, in the jungle. Right. And they showed the guy who, and it is incredible. So it would be interesting if that was used up there.
Wouldn't it?
On that area, yes, indeed. So,
thank you so much.
I'll just pause this. That's marvellous. We were talking with this gentleman who's arriving now, And this gentleman has had a photograph of said bones from a person who was here. Yeah.
I went all over there.
Yeah?
There were two people in jail. I thought that was you.
We've just been talking with them now.
Yeah, they were picking magic mushrooms and
That's-
getting broken and everything. I said, I've seen two people walking. He said, yeah, by the church. So
Is this a gentleman with his wife?
A funny hat on, a square hat.
Yeah.
yeah, they said, oh, he's done with the church.
Yeah.
I've just been speaking with him.
After you went, he came up on the phone, believe it or not.
No.
Well,
Oh, it doesn't say it's gone now again.
there maybe?
Just lost it. Hello, little dog.
He's handsome, isn't he? Look at that. Got himself. I'm the king of the castle. Look at him. And there's his mate. Eating the muck. What's so tasty about eating cow poo then?
This system is about 800 days out of date, so I think.
Back to photos. We've got September, October. Here it was.
It must have been before quite a while ago. Try nature here to make it nice. July now.
When you were a child, Murray, you could remember a roof on this building.
Yeah,
What did that look like then?
I think it was zinc, I think. Because the gangers come up there, and a couple of them were troublemakers. There was a lorry up there, parked, a farmer's lorry, and someone jumped in there and let the handbrake off and rolled it down the mountain.
You weren't very happy with that then?
No, I bet he won.
So the roof, there's a roof on it. So that means the walls were up to the roof as well?
I can't remember what I would know.
What kind of roofing material? I mean, it's built in the... So you made it then? Tim's got an audience.
Yeah, well that's it then, isn't it?
Was that Ruth?
Tim's got an audience.
Yeah. So who forgot you then? What's your name?
My name's Graham.
Graham. And I'm Paul. And you, Graham? Where do you live then, Graham? Oh. St. Enid. What do you think of the wind farm going by St. Enid then? Not a lot. That's right. Down the coal mines, huh? So how far did you walk then, do you think? How far have you walked? You can come back with us and I can drop you down to Smilock. You can come back with us and I'll drop you to Smilock, where your car is.
Hiya. How you doing? Good.
All right, how are we doing? We met before.
Yeah, hiya.
You want to do a Tim, where are we? Or-
Danielle.
Tim, where are we?
Everywhere, mate. How many times have you been here then, Adam?
This is my third time.
Third.
First time walking up from Smilock Woods.
Last time from Smilock Woods as well?
Bit muddy.
Bit muddy.
Bit muddy, yeah. If you go from Britons, it's, you can just walk up the road. So, yeah,
That was my first route from Bryn, and that's where I thought the stone might be, with the sword on it tipped over. But couldn't really say that there was any stone. I haven't seen any other direction either.
No, we were looking about when we went the first time. The stone embedded, there's nothing there. Turned upside down or moved or something.
They definitely turned it upside down.
Yeah.
Because they said that in the books, didn't they?
Yeah.
And the dig was apparently done by there.
Indeed. 5 layers of archaeology.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 days of each other. No! Yeah. I was
You know where the I know where the cross was found. You didn't see the hole, have you? But do you know where the stone was found?
I'd seen it 10 days previous. So.
Not here, I don't think, unless it was in the graveyard
I
somewhere.
thought they found the stone here. That was
Oh,
the
in the
first thing they
graveyard.
found.
Yeah.
First artifact they found
They say broken heart.
was a
Well,
slab, the one that's in
my
America
mum
with
was already
that
on
guy.
that.
Yeah, that might have been in here, you're right. Rereading Arturius Rex.
Yeah, that's the one. The first stone that they found was somewhere. They found it somewhere around here. And then about a year or two later, in the archaeological dig, they found the cross, didn't they?
Yeah.
But I don't know whereby they found the stone.
Because it's the same.
Yeah, it was there's a documentary watch, isn't there? That they sort of show where things were found.
Yeah.
They show you where the votive cross was found. But I can't quite remember if it shows you where the stones were.
No, I've never seen anything with this, but they've said. I know I've seen Alan Wilson talking about it, and he said, Tony Baram Blackett said,
So, yeah, that bit has been.
Eric Talbot, I think it was, found
kind
the
of
stone
distracting myself a bit
when they were
with
doing the
something else.
archaeological dig.
So,
And then later, then Richard Melbourne found the cross, and I know the spot that he found it. It's just you can still see a hole there. I've seen him pointing at it. You've seen that picture?
So there's that one in the middle, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
right.
a picture of Richard Melbourne. I've got it saved on my phone somewhere, pointing at exactly at where he found it. The photo was taken by Richard Hall.
yeah. I mean, there's a
But
few
I've
things
never been able to find where exactly Eric Talbot found the stone. Maybe they could have found it sort of around the church or something. I don't know. But yeah, maybe. Do you know, Tim?
Sorry?
We're on about where did Eric Talbot find the stone on this site? The first stone was the first artefact they found related to Arthur.
This was the King Arthur burial site, was it?
Yeah.
I think it was not in this section, I think it was just in the other section. In front of that. On the rear right, but of the main, things on the main church, not this end. I might be wrong.
Sorry, say again?
Where did you think it was?
I thought it was like at the front, to be honest.
Where'd you?
Only because I've seen a picture of him.
Yeah, holding it outside.
Yeah,
I got you.
so,
Yeah, I've seen that.
could have drawn it on. So we've got just this last bit. It's like, whoa.
Right, we talk about that's where.
What's the latest position with Morgana then?
Morgana, well, we're still building, we're still trying to establish ourselves as our own jurisdiction, short of getting land at the moment, so that would be something that we would like to have, obviously, but we're basically developing ourselves as a micronation. You know, and we've got things in place, we've got things like national anthem, and we've got our own constitution, and part of it was obviously recognising our ancient history of the area, the true history, and we've also got other things in there like to do with natural law,
Right.
which also includes what me and Danielle have been sharing the last few years about the biological laws of nature. So yeah, we're still doing it. We still meet regularly, but obviously life gets in the way sometimes, and certain things it's slow progress. But obviously, yeah, still doing it, still keen on it.
And how can people find out about the movement?
Glamorganug.org.
Glamorganug.org.
So yeah, just ask there. We've got various social media links.
Excellent.